Guess what? We're back and excited to continue with you all. And just in case this is your first time tuning in, I am Anita Kibunguchi-Grant, and I am serving as your guide for the event. I am live and set in Sunnyvale, California, and I'm joined by Garrett Kazmaier.
Hey, it is great to be back, and we are really excited for what is coming next, because we have shared all of our innovations with you, and now we want to hear from you and answer your questions.
Agreed. And before we jump into the live Q&A, just a reminder to submit your questions into the question box below the video player. We'll be pulling questions and answering as many of them as possible over the next 20 minutes. And while we give a chance to submit questions, I have one to kick things off. Are you ready, Garrett?
Let's go.
All right, let's do this. I love this first question because it's around Data Studio and Looker. And so let's go ahead and jump in. So with Data Studio part of Google Cloud and the announced Looker integrations, how should users think of the two platforms?
That is a great question. And actually, users should think in terms of choice. Data Studio is our self-serve dashboarding service, and it has millions of users already. Looker is our enterprise BI platform. It is multi-cloud, and it's completely API-driven, so you can even build applications with it. And it has this unique modeling language called LookML, through which you can build semantic-rich and reusable data models. So now with the project Bigquery, Data Studio and Looker are coming together on the experience level, but also Data Studio can now connect to LookML models directly.
Couldn't agree more, Garrett. And so we have another question up, and this is from Fiona. May I know what is the difference between Data Lake and Big Lake? And for our viewers, Big Lake is this new announcement we just made here at the Data Cloud Summit. So Garrett, tell us more.
All right, and thank you for asking, Fiona. Big Lake is one of our key announcements today. And so Big Lake really is you can think of it as a data lake storage engine almost. And the key point is that basically we are extending out Bigquery's base layer for which you can do fine-grained access control, data management, performance accelerations, and consistent data modifications, DML, on top of data lakes. And it even extends beyond Google's file storage in GCS. It also extends to other clouds likewise. So the difference is that you can now have your data lake and open source file formats and use Big Lake across it to secure it, to modify data consistently, to have super fast access, and to even then use Bigquery for SQL, or open source processing engine on top of it. It is the ultimate simplification.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And when we talk about Google's Data Cloud, we're always talking about simplicity and how we make things as seamless as possible for a lot of our customers, right? And this is just one step ahead in getting to do that.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah. All right, next question up. This is from Lahari. Lahari, thank you so much for asking this question. Cloud SQL versus Bigquery, what is the difference? This is a great question because, when we think about Cloud SQL and Bigquery, both of them are relational databases. But I think what's unique about them is, Cloud SQL is an operational database that's fully managed, and it's for running MySQL, Postgres, and SQL Server workloads. And we think about Bigquery. Bigquery is actually an analytical system, right? Running all kinds of analytical queries, right? Blazing fast speeds, helps you analyze your data. And so you'll hear a lot of us talking about Bigquery, and it's, the heart of our data cloud.
And actually what you see with many customers, they're using both together. Like Anita said, they run their transactions on Cloud SQL, they connect it to Bigquery as their system of intelligence, if you will, and then they drive a really data-rich experience with transactions and analytics.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And actually what's really cool about the two systems is that we actually support federation between both of them, right? Which means you're actually getting, again, that best of both worlds, and again, that simplicity, right?
Right on. All
right. Okay, the next question we have here is from Venu Gopalan, and hopefully I said this name correctly. My apologies if I missed this, but how is Big Lake different from Bigquery Omni, and where can I get details, Garrett?
Hey, I love that question because it is really talking about two of our biggest innovations. Bigquery Omni is our multi-cloud support for Bigquery. Basically, what it allows you to do is to break the barrier between different clouds and federate analytics across Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure. So it is really a cross-cloud analytical platform offering on top of BigQuery. Big Lake basically takes a different part of the data problem, if you will. Big Lake is really made now to unify data warehouses and data lakes. And the idea is that we take the foundational layer of BigQuery and we extend it to support data lakes as well. And that means that basically you can use any open source file from it, Apache Iceberg, for instance, and you can use Big Lake now to, as I was saying earlier, secure it, run DML statements on top of it, run open source processing engines on top of that. And there is a good wrinkle that you catched up upon. Big Lake is not only limited to GCS. So you can also now basically take Big Lake data management and extend it to other clouds as well.
Yep.
And that, in summary, basically means that BigQuery Omni is the big compute layer. It's running queries across cloud. And Big Lake is the base layer, which allows you now to manage data lakes across clouds.
Yep, that is true. Nicely done there, Garrett. All right, this is another question. Do you need to be a data scientist or ML expert to use AI on Google Cloud? I think the answer there is no. Isn't that right?
Well, here is one of the key innovations that I think is important for us to highlight that Google has brought to the market. Slightly outside of what we covered in a keynote, but worthwhile addressing. The key to data science and machine learning actually is democratizing the access to it.
Yep.
And when you look at areas where we have innovated at Google, it is around AutoML, basically automating automation, so that citizen data scientists, business analysts, basically everyone working with data can train, build, and deploy models without being a deep data scientists themselves. And of course, we have expert tooling in Vertex AI for data scientists as well.
Exactly. And also, let's not forget Bigquery ML too, right? The idea of using simple and standard SQL to be able to run machine learning models
exactly
on your Bigquery data. I mean, again, the idea of simplicity and giving folks the tools that they're very familiar with to actually get their work started. So it goes a long way. All right. This next question is from Shang Yi. Where can I find examples showing how Spark works with Bigquery and other Google Cloud resources? And this is a great question. The latest innovations help to make Spark a big class experience across Google Cloud. And so check out the Spark on Google Cloud website for more resources, and that's a good place to get started. And also something else I want to call out is that, when you start to look at trainings and, some of the hands-on labs, there's a lot of learning, including certification. So those are always good places to get your knowledge on. All right, next question from Anoop. Can you provide some insight into what tools are used for the ingestion layer in GCP data analytics platform? Garrett, this is a good one for you.
Anoop, great question. And the answer is so many and so much choice.
Yes.
Because basically we approach data with an open mindset around the partner community. And we are partnering very closely with a lot of data integration and data ingestion providers. So chances are pretty high that the tools that you are using already, be it Informatica, be it Fivetran, be it so many others, they are already supported and even certified for the usage on GCP together with BigQuery. There is even a program that we run, which is called Google Cloud Ready BigQuery, which basically makes sure that many of the data integration products that you are using, they meet all of the functional and all of the interoperability requirements together with BigQuery. Now, having said that, there is also a set of first-party services that we are offering on GCP and for BigQuery. And now it really depends on what you are looking for. There are simple ingestion services for files with the data transfer service, and it allows you to easily move data right into BigQuery. And we have more advanced services such Cloud Data Fusion, where you can build complex data pipelines and orchestrate a more complicated set of transformations and a heterogeneous data landscape. So the choice is really yours, and I encourage you to go on our website where you can find not only our first-party solutions, but also great references and examples for all of the partners.
Yep, that is true. And we talked a lot about, partners and all the work we're doing to innovate. And so at this Data Cloud Summit, we've unveiled a lot of, partnerships across, all incredible partners, again, to help you, bring that data onto the platform and make it seamless and easy for you to actually get started analyzing your data, right? And making those big business decisions. So, all right, from June. June, thank you for this question. How could I start to learn using BigQuery? Fantastic question. I think if there's one place I will send you is hands-on labs, that's a good place to start. I would say BigQuery free trials, and there's actually a free tier option for you, so that's another good place to start. Again, I talked a little bit about training, certifications. Those are all fantastic places to start. And so I would say go to cloud.google.com/BigQuery, and we have tons of materials there to get you going on BigQuery.
Yeah, start definitely with the free trial, right?
Yes, free
that
trial.
That is one of the most awesome offerings that you can
Yes.
basically get hands-on with BigQuery. You can use code examples. There is so much in terms of public and open data sets right available in BigQuery that practically you just need to sign up.
Yes.
And then you can just, making your first experiences with BigQuery right in the product.
And what's interesting is I do remember when, we were getting all these questions from a lot of customers and talking about how do I quickly get started with BigQuery, right? And so we talked about this like free tier option where you actually can get started with BigQuery without a credit card. And this was big. It democratized how folks were thinking about BigQuery. So definitely a good place to start. Again, check out all those resources on cloud.google.com. All right. So the next question we have here is from Apranesh. What exactly can I do with Vertex AI? I believe that's the question.
It is a great question, and Apranesh, a fairly broad question, because
Yes.
Vertex AI actually is a complete machine learning platform, which basically means that it covers the full machine learning lifecycle.
Exactly.
It starts from acquiring and managing data, identifying features, training, testing, and deploying models,
Yep.
machine learning operations, which basically means generating web service endpoints for them so you can use them for inference and monitor how they behave in the production environment directly. So basically, Vertex AI is basically what you need if you want to do machine learning at any scale. And I would really encourage you, if you want to learn more, to go on the Google Cloud website. There is great materials on Vertex AI, and there are great code labs and great examples that really show you what
Yep.
the full machine learning lifecycle actually looks like.
Yep, couldn't agree more. All right, this next question is from Trivikram. How do you manage ML workloads with the help of BigQuery and databases? And I think we've touched a little bit on this one, right? I think we've talked a little bit about BigQuery ML. We've talked about Vertex AI. Anything else you can think of here, Garrett?
Ask me to talk about data. So
Right, there you go.
I think it's a great question. And it gives us a chance to address one of the biggest hindrances actually in machine learning. There is this common saying that every AI project is a data project.
It is a data project.
In disguise.
You have to have your data right.
That's exactly right. So what we have done with BigQuery machine learning is actually that we embed Vertex AI, what we just talked about,
Yes.
right into BigQuery. And that means that you can basically invoke Vertex AI models
Yep.
directly from your SQL environment, directly from the context of your data, which means that practically you write only SQL to acquire data, to create models, and to support the right data structures into it. And then the coolest part is you can also invoke these models right from BigQuery again, which means that if you want to do analytics now using a machine learning model, again, in the context of where you are in BigQuery, you just write SQL, you invoke the models, and you get all of the inference, all of the classification, all of the regression models directly evaluated. And I think that is sheer beauty and ultimate simplicity.
Can agree more. And what's interesting too is we talked a little bit about the Vertex AI Workbench, right, which is a new innovation we announced here. I believe product was going GA, but yes, learn more there and figure out all the tools available to you. But we have lots of tools again to meet you where you are. All right, this next question is from Elling. What is the future of Data Studio? Are there still going to be free BI capabilities for SMBs? It's a good question because we talked a little bit about this one.
We did, and it is a lovely question.
Yes.
Because it gives us a chance to say in public in this forum,
yes,
that 100% yes. We are such big fans of Data Studio.
Oh yes.
It has millions of users today. It has millions of dashboards built, and we are so proud that what all of you are really driving in terms of BI and data visualization with Data Studio today already. So when we talk about big BI and the unification of Data Studio and Looker, we just talk about it, giving it more capabilities, making it better, and making it part of a bigger BI strategy. But for all of you, SMBs and the ones who are using Data Studio today for free, please continue doing it. So we love it. And in fact, we want to see much more of it.
Yes, and we talked about the fact that Data Studio has millions of users. I think the product kind of speaks for itself, right?
That's exactly right.
Exactly, that whole self-service ability is just fantastic. All right, the next question we have here is from Manpreet. What solution or tool do you recommend for data modeling? And I think here we would talk a little bit about BigQuery, Dataflow, Dataplex, some of those core capabilities on the Data Cloud platform.
Yeah, and it's one of those questions you cannot possibly answer in just a few seconds.
Yes.
So, all of that is pretexted with, please, go to Google Cloud on our website and, inform yourself, because there is so much good information. But on a very high level, we are strongly believers in SQL and SQL-based modeling. It's an open standard. We are committed to it. And we intentionally try to keep things simple for all of you, which means that if you are on BigQuery, basically your modeling language and the environment is given by SQL. And if you look at the other products like Dataflow and Cloud Data Fusion, they have kind of a different paradigm, because you're more looking at data pipelines and data flow. So the one is data at rest, the other one is data movement. And in those environments, we have special graph modeling and special templates for you to basically model your data pipelines.
Agreed. All right. Let's jump on to the next question here from Brian. I think this is a fantastic question. Are there tools in place to allow regular business users to access data ad hoc without needing a task an analyst? I think we talked a little bit about, a lot about Data Studio, and also integrations with connected sheets, right? So if you're thinking about continuing to use all the knowledge you have with sheets, connected sheets actually works really well with BigQuery, right? Export data, connected the two of them, and there you go. Just use your standard, sheets formulas, and you're good to go.
And there is one more thing that I think you should be considering, Brian. I think we talked about it in the keynote. Looker has this beautiful semantic model, which basically lets someone to build reusable data models, for someone then to be used in analytics. And actually what that means in terms of outcomes is that we see an immense reduction in the reliance on technical teams. So basically that means that if you're seeking to have secure, governed, trusted, and fast data discovery, but self-serve, Looker, and especially with Data Studio together, is a fantastic environment for you.
Yes, and am I, letting the cat out of the bag when I talk about, Project Big BI, right? You're getting the best of both worlds. Again, we're thinking through, again, all our users and how they're leveraging all the solutions we put out there. But when we talk about, Data Studio and Looker coming together, again, it's a win-win. All right, so can't believe we're in our final question, Gary, because this was so much fun.
Time flies.
Anyways, I know it does when you're having fun. So this last question is, what is the difference between Dataproc and Big Lake?
All right, a big question.
We've talked a lot about Big Lake already, so.
So let's start with Dataproc, right?
Yes.
So Dataproc is a set of managed and highly scalable open source processing engines. It's like Spark, Fling, Presto, and many, many more services around that. BigQuery, we talked about it too, is Google's completely serverless and highly differentiated data warehousing offering.
Yep.
So what Big Lake now does is basically unifying both worlds by extending out BigQuery's base layer, right? All of the, the file access, file modifications, performance acceleration, data management, and extends that to data lakes. To file stores and formats like Apache Iceberg.
Exactly.
And that means now for Dataproc and BigQuery that on top of Big Lake, you can use Dataproc and open source processing engines, or you can use BigQuery SQL for warehousing and ultra-fast SQL execution on the same base layer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thanks so much for participating in this Q&A and for joining us today. Be sure to stick around now as various breakouts will begin. These sessions will cover all things data across Google Cloud Portfolio. And to wrap things up today, we'll have an amazing demo happening at 11:45 a.m. Pacific time. Thanks again for joining us. This was fantastic.
And bye.
Bye.